Oh, hello, and welcome to another day. Another day? That's so exciting. May 23rd. And it's a day that we are making life worthwhile as dictated to us, demanded as such by one Fairbanks Sr. because he was born today in 1883. This is one of his self-help books, and it's been quite a help to me. Um, Yeah, the first thing I do in the morning is smile. It gets it over with. um, that's Buster Keaton, not Douglas Fairbanks Sr. But Douglas Fairbanks Sr. is somebody who I really wasn't too into when I was a lot younger. Uh, why? Charlie Chaplin, I was a huge fan. Lon Chaney, I was a huge fan. Buster Keaton, also a little bit later in life for me, but Douglas Fairbanks, I really took the long route to get to him. And I was just thinking about it earlier today, because that's what I do. um, and the issue is Karl Freund. Uh, and that's to say that, like, anybody that exists before Karl Freund in cinema is at a disadvantage because they don't have his insight into how much more cinema language can contribute as far as taking the camera off a tripod, swinging it through the room, strapping it onto your chest, and running through a space. All this stuff that like brings you as the viewer into the narrative didn't really exist until like F.W. Murnau's The Last Laugh, and that's like mid to late 20s, and anything before that, I'm probably making this way too sweeping of a generalization, but what are you gonna do? Anything before that doesn't. Nobody like thought to do this. Like very early cinema, even like something like say early Todd Browning movies, could seem like the camera is set up like fourth row center of like a just stage play and not like a dynamic part of the storytelling experience. By that I mean Douglas Fairbanks Sr. did some absolutely amazing stuff, but it was limited because of like the time it was from. I've also thought this about Hunchback of Notre Dame, the William Dieterle, Wallace Worsley, 1923 Lon Chaney Sr. movie. Chaney gives such an amazing performance in this movie, but I grew up with the William Dieterle, Charles Laughton 39 version, which like has all those sweeping camera movements as you follow a Laughton through the scenes and things, and it really brings you into it and like it makes the whole thing come alive so much more. At least as like a modern day viewer, and anything before that just feels so distant. It's like I don't know, staged quite literally, and a lot of Douglas Fairbanks Sr. stuff for me felt that way, and therefore I didn't like jump in and find out more and more and more, and that was to my own loss for many years because he has so much great stuff. I'm gonna say I was underwhelmed by Zorro and what's another one? I'm sure they probably deserve another viewing for me, but what sucked me in was The Thief of Baghdad. William Cameron Menzies, the director. It's filled with special effects and magic and giant dragon props, and it just one thing after another. It's just terrific and moves with a great pace and feels very modern actually, even though it still is limited in that way from a cinematic standpoint of what I'm saying. And that was what I like knew of Fairbanks, but actually that's like his 20s incarnation. His teens incarnation was this like other character that just Doug, who I don't know if he's inspired by the surrealists or the surrealists are inspired by him, But either way, he just takes like modern, like reality as we see it, and just like laughs at it. Um, as far as like what does gravity mean, and like I'm not going to use any. This is like before like all that many like stunt coordinators or safety measures were put in place, and he's just like, well, my character has to like scale the side of that 5-story building, so I'm going to do it, and in one take, and there's like no movie magic here. You're just going to film it, and I'm going to do it because he like was like, you know, an acrobat and everything, and like thought it was a good idea. And they're really great movies. All of his teen stuff, or the ones I've seen, there's a lot more that I haven't seen, are just so fascinating as like a time capsule for what it is, and I love it. And they were so popular at the time that he made these self-help books, which are like just nonsense, but wind up including like segments of his movies. A pointed argument with a cactus. Ha! Ha! Here's another one. Laugh and Live. And I mean, why not, right? Yeah, Douglas Fairbanks Sr. Check him out. Mystery of the Leaping Fish is a really great one. What's that other one? There's one where he plays like a Sherlock Holmes type inspector with a lot of problems, but it's fabulous. And then another one, I'm forgetting the name, where he eats some late night dinner, and it winds up like giving him these nightmares, and he has these like surrealistic, wonderful dreams. Mystery of the Leaping Fish, and it's not like a long. I don't know. Francis Marion did a lot of his title cards, making a lot of what he filmed into like absolutely hysterical and really smart and really biting content. Yeah, there's a Francis Marion documentary out there floating in the world that's well worth watching. She also worked with Douglas Fairbanks Sr.'s wife, Mary Pickford, on a lot of her work. Very early Hollywood was like in large part defined by a bunch of very talented and driven women, Frances Marion being one of them, Mary Pickford being another. Anyway, who else is electric? Why, Kenneth Strickfaden, born today, 1896, the man responsible for all the Frankenstein's lab machinery in the Universal Monster films, especially Frankenstein. Yeah, which later on winds up being reused in Young Frankenstein, which we may talk about later. Wink to the camera. Frank McHugh, born today, 1898. I have such a soft spot in my heart. Soft spot in my heart for Frank McHugh and all the cast of characters that are like all character actors in like pre-code films, early 1930s. Guy Kibbe being another one. Frank McHugh was in a whole bunch of Busby Berkeley films, and I don't know, I just, chew that scenery. I'm here for it. Who else? What else? The Muppet Show with Marty Feldman premiered today in 1981. Marty Feldman, obviously Igor from Young Frankenstein. I remember many years ago, I was going to get a Igor tattoo as like a Young Frankenstein, Igor, Marty Feldman back piece. And I was really looking forward to it. And then Rob from Photon Torpedoes got an Igor back piece, like right after I told him about this. So what's the moral of the story? Don't trust anybody, ever, again, with your ideas. Just shush until you've done it, and leave it at that. Yeah, so there you go. May 23rd. What are you gonna do today? Laugh and live. Laugh and live.